Oh, what's up? What's up? Oh, Shantel Jackson. Are you the prize? Did you ever believe that you was the prize? That when you said that you wanted to take a breaky break, that Nelly was going to come back? When in actuality, all things alleged, maybe Nelly himself was ready to take a break. It was encouraging you to just go for it because you felt that great about yourself being the prize. And that's just me taking a look in on the outside of what the relationship appeared to be. Because sometimes from what you were giving us a window of, just seems like you was complacent. It seemed like Nelly was just existing. Here you have this highly successful entrepreneur who has succeeded in other ventures, not just only acting. He appears to be like he was raised right, to go into the right direction. He appears to be a good father as well as grandfather. He looked like he was looking like he was just doing his best to enjoy the time that he did have with you. But something all along just never did seem right. And it just made me this time want to take a deeper dive into possibly, allegedly, of women, just my opinion, of women like you who appears to consider themselves as the prize. Like you want to be sought after. You want to be chased. Now, I often said it is, what the man is supposed to do, the chasing, the pursuing. We aren't supposed to just make it so hard on a man to the point where he just tired out and just ain't got no energy by the time he just done pursued and pursued and pursued. But to just give of himself, his time, his affection, to tell you how great you are, to tell you how in love. But with some women, it just seems like it's still never enough, that they still need to be put on this pedestal, but there is no even balance that comes with that. It's like, okay, he has his role within his scope, how life is with a man, and the woman, she has her role, what she gives, what she can bring to the table. I'm not talking about a financial standpoint, but just being a person of character, a person of decency and sound mind. But this chase of what is given, is it the model chase that we oftentimes see on her social media handles with the racy, revealing clothes of desperation, of being a pick me? Do you see me? And Nelly, if it's like, it almost looks like, when Nelly, if it's not you, if you're really secure with that relationship with Ashanti, which I know that I know. Well, in my heart, I feel that he is. I feel Ashanti's very secure. They studying them. But it just feels like this woman just goes even harder just for somebody, anybody. Now, I know somebody been in them inboxes. But sometimes women don't want to be too quick to step out with what has been approaching, because it still doesn't quite measure up, and they're keeping it quiet. And then nowadays, people just want to expose things, expose you, expose the inboxes, expose the desperation, expose the rolling in the bed, expose, oh, it was just a tease, expose, oh, the conversation had no depth in it, could not communicate, oh, they talked about past interests and just went on and on, maybe even talking about the current interests that that person may be involved in, because their self-esteem has just been lowered and crushed, and they're still going through a process of trying to get over of what was. Thinking, oh, did I really mess up because I wanted that breakup? Did I do that wrong? Did I think he was going to come back to me at some point in time? But he actually wound up with the true love of his life, and he's happy. But the thing is, maybe that person who have been through some type of a breakup, maybe you wasn't the one. In your heart, maybe that was the one for you. So how do you deal with it? Do you just keep putting yourself out there to clown yourself? Does somebody say to you, hey, try to capitalize off of this, try to monetize off of this? You know, it's so much talk about monetization, capitalize, get to the bag by any means necessary. If you have a product of sort, put the product on. Like that's just the love of your life. Like that's who you're in love with. But all the time, you know, you might be thinking on a real person. Because sometimes, if not careful, the mind can lead you down to a very, very, very delusional state. A shoe brand, a hair brand, a facial brand cannot provide companionship. I'm just speaking in general. It cannot provide companionship of true love, of finding out if that might be the one for you, especially if you are in the market to want to date and be with someone. To get on social media, to upload, to put on these little bitty shorts, to do a look around the shoulder, to play these salacious songs, because you know songs have a message. Songs are relatable. Otherwise, I mean, our brains wouldn't be functioning to how we communicate. We have things in common, the type of things that we do talk on. But sometimes in people's minds, it just goes way too far in what they do think on. Like, how do you go about having an effective relationship? Because a lot of times there is feedback in the comments. I know she sees them, but that doesn't mean people just want to take relationship advice from a stranger at the same time. And Lord knows, I'm definitely not trying to give any type of relationship advice. I can't do that. I got enough going on in my own life as it is. But it's just a nature of respect. And a lot of women do not understand the depth of their feminine power. Feminine power and being overly out there does not equate to the same thing. There's such a thing as self-love. There is such a thing as self-respect. There is such a thing as like a cutoff and wanting a person to know you for you. Because if you keep putting it out there and having a man to think, wow, this might be my life once I get with them, and in actuality, that's not the reality. Because everything doesn't stay the same. Things do come to an end. Things do sometimes fade. Sometimes you're not even in the mental state to put on this little piece. Sometimes you just want to kick it in your everyday clothing. Sometimes you want to put the hair up in a ponytail. Sometimes you want to go lighter on the makeup. Sometimes you want to sound like what you actually do without getting in front of a camera. Sometimes you just want to move like you regularly do move without having to have the sachet. It's just important on bringing something to the table other than I look good, I smell good, I can do this, just look at me, pick me. It is so much more the value. But it's like if a woman doesn't know her value, doesn't know her worth, how can a woman expect a man to appreciate that and not just be focused on the outer man? Because what men do see when they look at a woman, it is visual. What they sometimes first are attracted to. It's because you haven't even opened up your mouth yet. And sometimes when a woman does open up her mouth, sometimes women talk too much. Sometimes women reveal too much. And then by that time, a man has already in his mind, oh, this is how this is going to turn out, because the woman has already told what type of relationship, the possibilities of where this can go, or what she's looking for, or what she's in it for. That's why it's even important, like when these social media influencers, some go on these interviews, Nicole, for instance. She just put it out there. She's looking for a rich man. Hopefully, you know, it might be somebody in the record, a record executive. She put it out there. That's fine. That's her business. But with that is going to come some questionable situations. What happened to just having a good man who might make 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, on and on? Because when you're putting that executive, when you're putting money, when you're talking about going behind the scenes, when you've already dated somebody who has done successfully very well for themselves, and you've had opportunities to possibly elevate your own brand, but maybe you didn't take advantage of it. Now, what Shantel has going on, I've seen her promote various things. Even though something still seems to be missing, I don't know what's in that woman's bag. I don't know how much she's getting. But it always seems to go back to a way to have to bring Nelly in it, and Ashanti, to promote what she's doing. So after that's all been said and gone, and then it leaves you like, okay, now Shantel, is this the day that you're going to put on white and black, black and white because Ashanti had it on? Is this the day you're going to put on pink and black because Ashanti had it on? Is this the day you're going to wear something revealing? Now, one thing I didn't see Shantel try to compete with is when Ashanti presented Nelly with that car, with that old school. Y'all remember Nelly was like, ain't nobody ever done nothing like this for me. But maybe Chantel's money isn't the same as an Ashanti. Maybe she didn't have the money. Maybe, you know, she balanced it out and gave in other ways. Although her face may look like half the time she just didn't want to be bothered. Half the time his face just like he was just in it just to begin it because she was looking at herself as the prize. Women have to really be careful with the energy that they give and be clear in their minds. What are they in it for? Is it just to be a filler? Is marriage in the cards? Has that been discussed? Because again, not everybody wants to be married either. So that's not even to push an agenda. But it just makes you wonder what the type of man that Nelly is from the outside and what she was giving us, it never quite did seem like a good fit. So really, she went from Mayweather, and there's been some interesting stories about how that what went on in that relationship. You know, against each other for this reason, against each other for that reason. And then they had to come to some type of an agreement to work that out, you know, all things alleged. But at a time, you know, Nelly, he was at the height of his career when him and Shantel got together. Same thing with Mayweather. Very well known. Mayweather gave Jackson her name. Gave her stage name, her branding name. So something good had to have came from it, but it seemed like at that time, women were more so kept like iron candy. Like, look what I got. For the other men to look at what they got. But she was in the room. She was in the room to be able to work the room. But where is the value to know your worth? To know what you want, when to say no, know when to cover yourself up, know when to be a lady, knowing when and how to be a good woman to the man that you are with, and not trying to display it for every other man that might come over. Now, don't get me wrong, some men want their women to look exposed and have that look. And if that is the case, that is not your man. That is not your man. And it sounds like some self-esteem issues that he may need to work out, because if he has a woman with him that is busy validating his life, it's more to his life that is a little bit questionable. He's not that comfortable with you, or this is maybe temporary. Maybe this is not the one that he's trying to bring home to the family. Or if he is, some people introduce nowadays people to family members, and that still don't mean like it's anything special. But I still say, you know, have practiced the discernment of spirit to know what type of man you are dealing with, because it's a lot of deceivers out here, whether it's just your common everyday Joe Blow, or it is the man that's making X amount of figures. And a lot of times those be the stingy ones. Like if you coming into the game with something already, yeah, they may help you, but don't think a lot of times If you coming in the game and you ain't got too much, or y'all ain't building up off together on what it is, that sometimes can become a control thing. So you kind of have to look from all angles to protect yourself as a woman and know this is not worth it just because he has a name. Some of it just don't be worth it. And it do be time to move on. And it be time to move on to talk about something new. Because not every man wants to sit here and look at a woman rolling around half naked either. Some men want women to put some respect on it and be that woman when it's just them behind closed doors, and to have a conversation, because there's only so much you can talk about rolling around in the bed and what the latest is that you got on. What, some Versace shoes? And I don't know too many brands, and I'm okay with that, because at the same time, be you. If someone wants to love you for you, let them. If they don't, what you gonna do? Just completely fall apart? Nah, don't do that. That's not worth it. That's not why we are meant to be here. It ain't that journey. We gotta love ourselves first.